Most people look back on kindergarten with fond memories. Finger painting, nap time, the smell of graham crackers. I look back on it and I feel a knot of cold dread tighten in my stomach. It started with a class project. Mrs. Davis, our teacher, had this bright idea about connecting with the world. We were all given helium balloons, mine was bright red, and told to write a note, tie it to the string, and let it go. The idea was simple. Write your name, what you liked, and your school's address. If someone found it, they were supposed to write back to the class. I was 5 years old. I didn't understand boundaries or safety. Instead of the school address, I wrote my home address. And on the note, in clumsy crayon letters, I wrote, "Hi, my name is Leo. I like T-Rex dinosaurs and the color blue. Who are you?" I remember watching that red speck disappear into the bright blue sky, hoping it would go all the way to China. 3 weeks later, I got my first letter. My mom seemed excited. "Look, Leo, someone found your balloon." It was a plain white envelope with no return address. Inside there was no letter, just a photograph. It was a Polaroid. The colors were slightly washed out. It showed a dense, dark forest. Snagged high in the skeletal branches of a dead oak tree was a deflated scrap of red rubber. My balloon. At 5, I thought it was cool. I taped the picture to my bedroom wall right above my bed. A month went by. Another envelope arrived. Again, no return address. Inside, another Polaroid. This one was different. It wasn't the woods. It was a picture of my elementary school playground. It was taken from across the street, through the chain link fence. In the center of the frame, tiny and blurry on the swing set, was me. I was wearing my favorite blue jacket. My mom thought it was strange. "Maybe a local photographer found it and wanted to surprise you," she rationalized. But I remember her double-checking the locks that night. Then the gifts started appearing. They weren't mailed. They were left. The first one was on our front porch. A small plastic toy T-Rex. It was dirty, like it had been buried in mud. My mom threw it away, telling me not to touch strange toys. The next one was terrifying, though I didn't fully grasp why at the time. I woke up one morning to find something taped to the outside of my first-floor bedroom window. It was a drawing. It was crudely done in dark, heavy charcoal. It was a stick figure drawing of a tall, black figure standing next to a small bed. Underneath the bed, drawn with intense pressure, were 2 wide, staring eyes. My parents called the police. They filed a report. But since there were no direct threats, there wasn't much they could do. "Probably just neighborhood teenagers pulling pranks," the officer said. My parents installed motion sensor lights. They told me I wasn't allowed to play in the front yard anymore. The climax happened 6 months after I let that balloon go. It was November, a stormy night. I woke up around 2 a.m., desperately thirsty. The house was silent except for the drumming of rain against the siding. I crept out of my room and down the hallway toward the kitchen. The motion lights outside were flickering nervously in the wind. As I passed the living room archway, I stopped. The front door was unlocked. Not just unlocked, but slightly ajar. The wind was pushing it open an inch, then letting it close with a soft click. And on the hardwood floor of the entryway leading into the living room were wet, muddy boot prints. They were huge. Frozen in terror, I peered into the dark living room. The motion light outside flickered on for a second, casting long, swinging shadows through the front window. In that brief flash of light, I saw him. A man was sitting in my dad's armchair in the corner of the room. He was dressed entirely in dark, rain-soaked clothing. He wasn't moving. He was just sitting there in the dark. facing the hallway where I stood, waiting. I didn't scream. Terror silenced me. I turned and ran back to my room, diving under my covers, pulling them tight over my head. I laid there shaking, listening, praying the door handle wouldn't turn. I must have passed out from fear. I woke up the next morning to my mother screaming. The police were everywhere. My parents were frantic. Nothing was stolen. The man hadn't taken a single thing, but he had left something. On my pillow, right next to where my head had been lying while I hid under the covers, was another Polaroid photo. The police took it as evidence, but I saw it before they did. It was a picture of me, taken from the doorway of my bedroom just hours before. All you could see was the lump of my body under the blankets. And written across the bottom of the photo in black marker were 3 words: "I found you." We moved a week later. My parents never really explained it to me fully until I was much older. They never caught the guy. The police said the boot prints led back into the woods behind our subdivision and vanished. I'm 30 years old now. I live in a secure apartment building on the 10th floor. I don't have a yard. Sometimes when I'm driving, I'll see a child hold a balloon. And I have to pull over because my hands, I start shaking too hard to grip the wheel. I want to scream at them to hold on tight. Don't let go. You never know who's waiting to catch it.